assured. Rest assured is it's a dynamic, let me say it's a framework, right? It's a Java framework for automating your API. And it's dynamic in that it validates the REST API services. And what other thing? For example, if your HTTP server returns the following JSON at blah blah blah. So if you have a JSON like this, you can easily use rest assured to validate interesting things from the response. So we said last week when we shortly look into the API testing, somebody asked a question on API testing and we used Postman. We said the concept of API testing is you using HTTP method to do what? To request from the server resources and do what? Um and get them fetched, all right, to the client. From the server to the client, you want to get those resources, you want to fetch them, and for some of those resources you want to modify them, and for some you want to create new resource on what? On the server. When you're creating new resource, we said it is post, right? When you are getting fetching from the server, you say you're using get. And there's also the put, where you try to do what? To add resource or modify resource to the server. And then there's also the patch and so on. So these are the various things you do when you are testing your API. Also to be observed is what? Is the response you get. So you want to validate the kind of response you want. Then you start looking into what? Testing. And this testing thing can take into account the body of your request and the what? The status code. Takes in the body of your request because every response has what? A body and what? And a response. And sorry, and status code. So how the body is structured, you want to know which are the key and the values, in JSON or whichever format you want your response to be. And that is how HTTP, that's how API testing generally works. So for rest assured, it is also not so different. The difference is that you have to put into code this writing instead of just click and click that we do with Postman. Of course, in Postman, you can also write some codes in some part of it. There's the code part on Postman. However, we're not doing Postman today. You can go through some of our videos on Postman on the channel. You can, I think we have some videos on Postman where we wrote codes to. I'm not sure, but I think we have that. If you are inquisitive about writing codes to automate on Postman. Okay, so that is that. But for rest assured, how do we proceed? There's a documentation here that says getting started. So for getting started, how do we proceed? We have a project that's a Maven project already on ground here. So we'll follow the Maven format. The Maven format says add dependency, IO dot rest assured version, and then the scope. So I can come here. This is our project, right? I'll go to the form here and add. Let me remove this scope. This scope can be annoying sometimes. So I won't put scope. Even for this, I won't put scope. So I'm going to remove this and I'm going to refresh my Maven. Okay. So this one too. Oh, there are two test ng on this thing. That's pretty interesting. Let's remove one. Okay. So we have our rest assured and the version. That's the first thing you do. That is the getting started. Now, I think depending on what you want, there is the XML part, right? To pass XML documents during when you're making request. If you want to make request in XML, you want to make request in JSON. So let's add this, hopefully. We add this two. We add the JSON, we add the XML part. And we can also add the JSON schema validation. So let's just add those two I copied. Um, okay. So I will put JSON part and the XML part. Here's XML. We are not really doing XML in this class, so let me just ignore the XML. I will ignore XML. Ignore this one, but I will put JSON schema validation there, and then I will stop with the dependency thing. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So what next? Let's go back to this page here. So the next thing is hmm, the next thing is downloads. Okay, so I don't know JSON validator. We don't need this. We don't need this, so I'm skipping that. And then I'm going to the usage guide. Let's look at a JSON example, because for this that we are looking at here, we'll make use of the project that I gave us last week. I think I opened it earlier, did I? I opened it earlier. It's not this one. Okay, yeah, this is it here. Now, if you look at this project very well, you discover that that is the web UI part. And there is also the, let me go to GitHub. If you go to the README on GitHub, you will find the endpoints you have to consider. Now, these are the endpoints. We have, if you consider this first endpoint says add base URL to what, to endpoint. These are endpoints, right? So if you come here, you go to your base. What is the test base? The test base is, let me log out. Where is this? Give me. So this is the base here. I have QA test dot QA fit dot at. Okay. So now that's my base URL. So I'm going to use it slash what, slash this. Okay. So this is the first endpoint. What do you get? Because this is a get, I can easily get it from the browser. So I have message welcome to school API. So this is the first endpoint. All right. So if you are to use rest assured to get this particular endpoint, how do you proceed? Okay. So look at it here. When you're using rest assured, you have to import. I don't know where they didn't talk about import. Yeah, import, this is it here. We have static import. You have to import io.restassured, and then all of this here. So let me see if I can import this. You come to, let's go to one of our tests here and import it, because it is just an API test. We can definitely put it in the test area. Uh, do, 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 do. Oh, I think I even have it here. Control Z. Import here. Import io.restassured. Import How does rest assured matcher? Let me put this one as dot star to import everything. That is every other class within this rest assured. Okay. And then there's also the crest. That's the import org.ampcrest. Okay, so they are like this because we've not used them. You know that already. Okay, so all of this we have rest assured we don't have any test using them yet. So that's the first thing you do. You do your static import. If you are validating the schema too, we can use this, but not yet. Let's go on to the example. Assume that the get request to this particular site, okay, returns JSON as. So I'm not doing Jenkins, I don't know why. Assume that the get request to this site return JSON as. Okay, it's an assumption. So we have this endpoint called localhost 8080/loto. And this is the response supposed to give. Remember our own endpoint. Our own endpoint says we are going to this place and where it is returning this. Can you follow through? Now it's very simple, and that's why using one day is even enough for this class, for rest assured. Okay, so we are saying that since this is the response we want, the first thing you do is to what? Is to get the endpoint. Now the endpoint you see here is what? /loto. Remember I said you combine your base URL with what? With the endpoint. The endpoint here is /loto. So we have get /loto dot then. These are keywords. Dot then. So have then and then get the body. Okay. Dot then get the body. And what is the body of the response? So we have the endpoint. Because it's a get, there is no I don't think there is any request that is being sent here. So all we are doing is to just get this endpoint and get. Oh yeah, this is the request body. So get this request and then pass in the request body loto id equals to 5. Okay, so where is it? Loto dot loto id. That is, we are calling object loto id from within its parent node. Okay? So in JSON, we say there is something called key value. Your key is this first one you see here before the colon, and your value is the value after the colon. Okay? So for Loto, its value is this entire node. Okay? And for Loto ID, what is its value? 5. And it's not just 5. Yeah, it's 5. And then for winning numbers, this is the key. And what is its value? This is its value. And then for winners, which is the key, what are the values? I think this one has more things within it, like an array. So we have, see where the square bracket ends. It starts from winner ID key, and then 23 as the value, numbers key, and then this numbers as the value, winner ID, and then this as the value, and then numbers, and then these numbers as the values. Okay, so we have this all stuff, and we want to get just one thing there. What we want to get is this little id equals to 5. We want to validate that we can actually get this. So what do? You get the Lotto request, then the body, and then we do this. Very simple. Or perhaps you want to check that the winner IDs are 23 and 25. If you are looking for 23 and you're looking for 25, where's 25? Okay, 23 and 54. 23 and 54, that means you are looking for this, and this. Then what do you say? You say lotto.winners.winner ID, and then maybe do has items, this and this. Okay, so this is just to show you how you test from your request and then down to your response. Okay, using get. This is all get. So now let's do get. We'll do get and then we'll do post. Okay, so we have a test here. We can call it a test. Let me call this public. Before I do that, okay, API test. So I can call this public void test get score. Okay, so we are saying get score. Now this is because this is UI. We are not following any of this. What we are following is exactly what we described, what I showed you just now. So because that's what you're following, we will just say, what is the first thing? Let's see, you have to define your rest assured. Your rest assured is the what? Is the class we have imported from the IO, from the rest assured library, if I recollect. So we have rest assured, uh, okay, yeah, rest assured dot base URL. Have I even defined my base URL? Okay, so let's assume the rest assured dot base URL equals to, what's our base URL? We are using we say this one here. This one. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we have something like this. Okay, now what you are now going to do is you say given dots, just like what we followed here. Let's see it again. Say given. How did we start it? How did it start? Okay, this one did not say given. Okay, but you can say, I will remove all this header thing. So your header is also very important. However, we'll get there. Let's look at inspect. No, not here. Successfully logged down. Let's see if there's any endpoint we can find here. Slash API VI network. No. Okay, so we don't need all the other thing for now. All right, so we have get what now? What do we want to get? We want to get API slash VI. No, API slash V1. Yeah, API slash V1. No schools there. API slash V1 slash API slash V1. That is the endpoint we want to get right now. So we say get endpoint. Okay. And then then get the response status code, that was also important. Then get the body. Now look at the body. What body are we expecting here? We are expecting message to be equal to welcome to school API. Something like this. So we are expecting message to be equal to what? Something like this. Welcome to school API. Okay. Okay, so I can also log it if I want. Now look at this now. I already tested that endpoint on the browser. Okay, and I got welcome to school API. That is what I expect to when I want to test this particular endpoint. It's as simple as this test get school. All right. If I execute this now, let's see what. Okay, so we have used term rest assured. Yeah. Okay. One expectation field. What line is that? 54. Okay. So, body equal to, maybe we should use something else. Body, mm, body matches. Mm, mm, mm. Rest assured. Okay. But that should be equal to, should work. Message welcome to. Okay. Let's see this again. We have get dot body. Okay, so we can just say, yeah, equal to was also used here though. So we can say, let's see, because we have just one thing, one key, which is message. So we can say dot body message equal to the value inside. Yeah, this should be correct. Okay. Let me remove the status code and check again. Message equal to welcome to API. Yep, it is correct. It is definitely correct. Um, we will execute this again. Okay. Test engine, test journal log. Okay, I think I may know why all of this is like this. Pass private access case. Just mm, okay. Now let's execute this again. Alright, run test get school. Okay. Message does not match. Okay. I think we have a problem here. It says expected is welcome to school API. And the actual is, okay, the actual has a dot. Can you see? So I have to put exactly what I'm expecting. The actual has a dot, so I have to put dot here. Does it have a dot in the real sense? Let's see it again. Does the actual have a dot? Yeah, it does. I didn't copy the dot with it. So we execute this again. Apparently, this should also fly now. Let's run this. Okay. So we want to get nice. Nice. So we have message welcome to school API and then it passes. So now that is your first thing when you are using the word keyword get. You see how this work in Postman? We checked that last week, but we can also still look at it. So we said it's just a very simple thing. In Postman, it's just click, click, click button. So I have something like this. This is the welcome. I already put it here. Welcome. Why is welcome using delete? Okay, so we have the base URL. This is the URL we just tested now. And you want to get it. You are not passing any request. You just want to get. Now, this is what you have here. The response. Remember, the response, it can be in any format. But for us, it is what? JSON. And that was why we passed JSON dependency the other time. Some requests can also be in XML, and you might also want your response in XML, If you decide that maybe you want to pass a request that is XML in nature, then you have to also install the dependency that can pass the XML, which we saw, and I said we are not doing XML, right? So anyway, this is how get works. So let's see how post work. If you look at post, I think we have an endpoint for post that says user register a user, right? So normally if you look at this now, this is how it works. You pass the request and then the value. This is a JSON. JSON uses key value pair. So you can either use the form data here or you can pass it raw JSON and write it like normal JSON, right? With the parentheses. But let's look at this. We are not using Postman. I just want us to see how this works here compared to writing the code. All right, so we'll go to the next test and say a test um let's say probably void register register register. What did we see just now? A user. Okay, register a user. Okay, so register a user. Register a user. Okay, so for register a user, because it's a post, you can't do it via the browser. You may want to try your luck, but this method is not allowed. Can you see? You cannot get this because it requires you passing a request, and you also want the request to be freshly created. It's a post. So yeah, you can do that here. So what we can do, you go here and then we pass the request we want. I said the other time that it has to be a JSON. And how do you write your JSON? Okay, so I have a very brilliant suggestion here, but I will explain it, don't worry. So for the JSON which we did not write here, let me show you how you exactly pass the JSON. So this is the JSON here. We want to pass a value for username and password. Okay, so we have your key, and then you have what let's say Ademola. You have your comma, and then you have your password. Ademola, my password. Very cheesy password. You must never use this on a normal day. Okay, so we have this. This is the JSON, right? However, because you are trying to pass this, right? You have to put it like a string, and that's the essence of what you see here. So this is the JSON here, which you cannot pass this way. You cannot pass it like this, all right? You can only pass it like a string, okay? So when passing it like a string, you use you make use of /n and then slash quotation. Now, what you see as the plus 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 here, hmm, let me even do it for you. Let's remove this here. Let's assume that we are passing this string afresh. It will convert it automatically for me, I think. So, yes, it did convert it automatically for me because I only pasted this. Because now that I put it inside the quotation, it converted it to string automatically for me. So this plus or concatenation. You know what concatenation is, right? Okay. So we are saying that start on this line with this parenthesis, and then on the next line start with what? Username, and then pass the value, then jump to another line, and then add that to this. You have the password and then the value, jump to another line, and then close. That is what all of this is saying, by the way. Now, so we have, I don't need this edge. Not really. We might really need it because it is a post. So automatically in Postman, you know, it will already pick your header. Sometimes you have to also set it right, but this one has just picked it for me. And another thing is, if you are not sure of the header, you can go to your console. Now see your post register here. You are going to find the request headers here, and then the response body, and then the response headers. You will find it here, especially for a request that is successful. Let's assume this request is successful. Let's send it. You're successfully signed up. So if this request is successful, for example, I've cleared it again. Let's put something else. Ademula 101 is successful. Now, you see your post, and from your network, go. Request headers. Now you can see the application JSON is what we call the content type. What does that mean? It means that the content of this request is an application JSON. It's as simple as the grammar itself. Now we have the host, which is what? QA which is what? Where your server, your base URL is. It is the host server. So we have this here, also simple to understand. The connection is saying keep alive. That is just a connection term. There's postman token. There's nothing much to see here. And then in the response, what is the format? The response is also in an application slash JSON. It's a JSON format. And so on and so forth, right? So you see, discover something that the response we have this time around is two. We have the message and we have the token, unlike the other time where we had just message. So here we can try to validate to check if message is present and if token is also present, right? Message and token. So usually, yeah, you always check for the values you get in your response to be sure that that is what you're expecting as per testing is concerned. So I have an header here that says content type application JSON, and my body that you already know, the request body. So this is the post method. Then I'm not sure we use when here the other time. So we can remove when if you like. And then I will put here as post endpoint. Yeah. So because I think I did something like that to get endpoint, post endpoint. So basically just reminded me that I need to put it here too. So I have the post endpoint, then validate response. So what is a validate response? So I will say I want a startup code of 201 because that is what it should be. Because we are creating a new resource, I have a status code of 201, and then my body has what message equal to, let's look at this response very well. You have successfully signed up, right? You have successfully signed up. Okay. And then there is another one. So I can say token. Sure. Token equal to token. Should I do that? Okay, because this token will keep changing. What happened to this message? You have successfully signed up. Okay. So, but I can also say maybe is token present or something like that. Yeah. So let's see. Dot body dot token. Let's see. Maybe I can use something else. Token. Token is um is okay. Don't contain here. Matches dot null value. Not null value. Okay. Not null. Not null. Yeah, it's not null. That is, it's not empty. The token object is not empty. Should I do that? However, I have an error here. Class interface expected. Where? Uh, class interface expected. Where is that? Okay, I think it's about the parenthesis. Parenthesis was not correct. Okay. So let's see if we can run this code successfully. Let me remove this request from here. So I have the header, the body, the post method, and then my response. Okay. Okay. So you remember there is no body for the request here. That's why there was no body. But we had body for response. Now there is body for request and there is body for response. Just look at it. They are all very simple. The same technique, the same principle in testing API before now. So um don't worry about all the dots, this dot that. They are just it's just syntax. Okay, so I have one expectation field. Expected status for 201. Okay, let's say because we already have this existing, right? So let's say this person is not Adebola but Ogubola. And this password is still cheesy. 1 Okay, so let's see what happens now. Okay. So I have we still have all for not found. Okay. Number 70, line 70. What if I remove this line? What then? Let's execute again. Register a user. I should have started this to be test to register user. Does not matter, but let me just follow. Sorry, guys. Oh, my camera is not open. Hope I didn't turn on my camera. Oh my god.
No, you are safe.
Okay. Because I'm in nose issue right now. Okay, so let's see the assertion error. One expectation field. SML path message doesn't match. SML path. You have successfully signed up. Expect that you have successfully signed up. Actual for not found. The requested URL was not found on the server. Okay, maybe because of this that I put here. So let's test this one by one. I will remove this. Let's see if it will see message first. Okay, will it see message? Alright. We have you have successfully signed up. If you expected actual was not found on the server. Oh, do we have the right endpoint? I think we do. Yeah. API v1 register, right? Please check the spelling and try again. The spelling and try again. Okay. The spelling. What does that mean? Uh, you have successfully signed up. 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 Yeah, a dot. Yeah, there's no dot. Okay. So we have you have successfully signed up. Dot message equals to, and then the endpoint is what? V1 auth register. V1 auth. Yeah, we are wrong with this. Just imagine. So the endpoint is not corresponding. V1, that should be API. I think there should be API. Where is this one? API slash V1. Okay. API. API slash V1 slash auth. Yes, now we are on the right thing. I'm going to comment this. Then we will validate this first and then we check with the token again. Let's see. Let's execute this again. Test to register a user. So great, nice one. So this passes this time around. We have message you have successfully signed up, and then we have the token. Now, we also need to check that token is present. So I'm looking at how do we do that. That we can check that token. No. Why would I validate the value? That's okay. Uh, that's okay. Is not no. Is not. Wait, matches not no value. Is not no. I don't know this one of like. Let me look for something else. Token. This is hmm, okay. What do you want me to fix here? Hmm, I can use this method. Um, uh, let's check our documentation. Let's see if there's a method that I can use from there. So we stopped at get on this page. Did they do any posts method on this page? Let's see. I can see matches JSON schema in class paths. What is this? They are trying to validate the schema. Okay. Okay. Given this and this. Mm, before validating schema, you can actually validate more than one key value to be sure about the response that you are getting. You want to see that you have the exact kind of response you need. Of course, you can do schema validation, which is the next one we do after now, and we will call it a day. Okay, so let's see. When then body as items. Okay, as items. This comma, this no. Uh, get list. No. Um, the serialization we generate. Um, equal to equal to uh why only equal to so much of equal to a string, yes, byte, a simple string. um okay, okay, we can do a JSON part, and then no, not yet. XML, using XML part. We are not doing XML. Okay, let's use this suggestion that was here earlier. Oh, sorry. There was a suggestion that my ID was suggesting earlier, if I recall. Something about something about matchers, matchers, uh, matchers, any of close to contains extends either empty ends with as item uh, in matches pattern is okay, not null value, not null value, matches that not null. value. Oh, where's 0 coming from? Full same parenthesis. Okay, that's been fixed. So we have token matches dot not null. Let's see if this will validate anything for us at all. What I'm trying to check is to check that the token value is not empty. It's not empty. Status code is still failing. It didn't fail the other time, right? Okay, that means let me change these values. Let's say Brasilia and and uh, and free password. Free password. Okay, maybe because the user already exists. Okay, now we have just part token doesn't match. One expectation fail, expected null, actual. No, now. I'm not expecting no, I'm expecting not no. Okay, it has interpreted it. Okay, null value, gosh, it should be not null value. Okay, so I have matches dot not null, not user, not user. You cannot expect. Okay, yep. So expected is not no, not no, not a no. Okay. Uh, okay. Let's see. Okay, interesting. So it passes this time around. You have successfully signed up, and then yeah, good. Now let's see the test case where you check for the response schema. That's the JSON schema, that is. You want to check that the when you talk about schema, let me just explain. So when you talk about, where is that part that talked about schema in this example? So when you talk about schema, you're talking about how your JSON is represented, right? Where the keys are, the nodes are, the values are, is like you are talking about the skeleton of a body, and the skeleton of a body, how it is shaped is going to represent how your body will look like. Okay, so we have something called schema. Yeah, just a schema validation. Okay, just a schema validation. We already imported something to validate schema, so I think that is fine. So for this example now, you can validate that this endpoint, that is this endpoint called product, whatever the endpoint is, okay, endpoint called product, conforms to the schema, right? And then you assert that body matches schema in something something, that's product schema JSON class path. Matches JSON schema in class path. Okay, so for you to understand that, um, now look at it. Look at this JSON. See the way it looks like. See the way it looks like. We have the title, the type, the items, so many multiple items under, and then so many other nodes. And talking about node, I'm trying to say that okay, when the child consists of another child and another child and another child, okay, those are the different nodes inside of the parent node. called items. So here we have item, type, and title in the same on the same, what will I call it now? There's a name they call it. So we have all of this on the same line, and then we have items having a child here, right? Or children here, and then inside that we also have one of his children bearing another one children up to where? Up to dimensions. See, one of its children also bears another one, and so on. Can you see that this looks like as if it's will be complicated or so or whatever? And that is why you validate. That's why you validate the JSON schema, because it's not every JSON response that you will see that is just one or two nodes. Like the one we have here. The one we have here is just one node. We just have message token, a message and token, and that's all, and there's nothing else there. So not all responses is going to be having something like this. And that is why most of the time we have to deal with what? The JSON schema. Okay, now let me go to this link here. Schema validator. Is there a setting there? Okay. Okay. Given JSON schema factory, then we can set the validation configuration. Now this is the long thing. Matches, assert that body matches in class paths using JSON schema factory. Okay, then we can get the product and assert that it matches where the setting method is typically imported from. Okay, let's do this, right? Let's see if we can make use of this schema validation setting in so we have something like this, and then I will update it here. Okay. There's nothing saying this thing should not. Let me see. Class is almost over. Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow, but let me quickly do this. I have type, comma, string. Okay. Then I have token to be string also. Type string. So let's just say I have let's say this is properties. Let's say this is properties. And then what's this? What's this? What's this? Control Z. So let's say this is properties. And then what's this now? Comma. Then I can say it is required. Message token is required. Okay. So it's like me defining the data objects, the data types. So this is the data object having properties message and token. Message and token Is there an error on this page?
The screen heart stars.
Sorry. Sorry, I need to quickly get out of this place. So I have type. Aha, this is what is giving me error. So I have type properties and I have message inside of properties. Type. Okay, I think I know. Okay. Any error again? Is there any other error? There's still one more. Trailing comma 8. Okay. Finally, I have something that looks like. I hope this is not going to give me. It's not going to give me null again. Okay, so I know something is wrong with this. So I'm going to Control Z to where what we had earlier and see what will happen if I execute. I have the right directory, right? Hopefully. Oh, I didn't change. Sorry, I didn't change this. I'll call this my good name and good. Alright, guys, I think we have come to the end of this class. Let's see if this. Oh, 200, 201. Why? Um, unexpected assertion error. It did not even create yet. Okay, let's see if it will create this time around. Okay, has not created yet. Expecting this. So that means we have a message type which is correct. Our token string is correct. And um, this is correct. So what is it? All right, so let's look into this error tomorrow. Apparently it is already saying our schema, by the way. The schema, we are seeing it already, but it looks like the schema is a little bit wrong or something. But it is already saying the schema, so which is one good step. And the next thing is for us to, assuming I develop this code now, I can easily give you the schema as a developer. Or if you're working with a developer, they can easily give you this schema. You don't have to be the one to set the schema yourself. I think what the schema is doing is to validate the object type, right, against the response that you are getting. That's what it is doing. So if you have the wrong schema, it's still going to check it, and if even if you are having the right response, it will tell you that it does not match, like what is happening right now. It's telling us that it does not match. The response we are getting is very correct. Look at it. Expected, where is it again? Okay, didn't put expected this time around. Anyway, the expected, oh, I didn't put it here. Why am I running this thing without putting? So it's getting the expected, but it's matching it against. Let's see the response again. So it has the right set of data. That's the right response, but because the schema is wrong, it's still going to check it against the schema and tell you that what you have is wrong. Yes. So that is exactly what is happening. Look at it now. Expected, you have successfully signed up. It is seeing this right as expected. And then it's in the actual, it is telling us that the username is saying please enter a username, which we can't see right now. So the JSON part token doesn't match. Expected not no. Actual no. So this part, it's getting to this level, as you can see, dot dot dot. But the only thing that is required of us tomorrow now for us to complete is to really check this schema and see what to fix there. All right, see what we can fix here, and that is all. I only saw the suggestion online, and I had to like put it into the response we're supposed to get. And I think it should work, but anyway, let's check it together tomorrow and see what happens. So this comes with this, we have come to the end of this class, guys. Let's meet tomorrow to conclude. Rest assured, we've done post. And the last one is supposed to be the JSON schema validation. And after that, we will continue with the expansion of our test framework.